I want to share with you a little gift. And this is a letter that was actually in my real estate business. And I've never shared with people this letter before, but this was the letter that produced actually the biggest response of any mail piece I ever did. And now this is very personal to my business. You'd have to take this and tweak it. But if you'll see, there's a headline. Have you turned on your reticular activator? Could you imagine getting a letter that says that? Okay? And so it's a headline, and it goes on to explain what it is. And you could personalize this. I did this. This is purely from the business. Mostly all the letters in here are generic for you to use. You can use this and tweak it any way you want, but I want to show you how I use it personally in my own business. Very, very powerful amount of responses from that. Let's keep going with the personal contact systems. We're going to get into some very important dialogues. This is called the referral dialogue, strangely enough. The most important point you communicate to your clients is your unique selling proposition. Your unique selling proposition. Unique selling proposition. What is a unique selling proposition? Well, Nike says what? Just do it. So that's a slogan that grabs your attention. And there's companies who've taken those slogans and have actually turned it into meaning something. For example, Federal Express launched themselves out this way. When you absolutely, positively have to get it there overnight, use FedEx. Now, FedEx took on a government. They took on a monopoly. Okay? The U.S. Postal Service. And for all the rap the Postal Service gets, the U.S. Postal Service is the best in the world. Okay? The U.S. Postal Service has gotten a rap for this. The check's in the mail. Mailman just lost my letter. But if you mail a letter in America, if you mail it locally, it gets there the next day. If it gets across the country in 2 days. Okay? It's pretty quick, mostly. Now, the FedEx did this. They put power into people's hands. They said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to get this guaranteed. And we'll be able to tell you where it is every hour of every day. You'll be able to track it. Now you can do it online. FedEx charges up to 5 times that of their competition. By the way, listen, is FedEx competing on price, yes or no?
No.
What?
No.
Are they the discount commission?
No.
They charge 5 times that of the monopoly, and they stole the market. Because people don't mind paying full fee when they're getting full service. Full service, and they know what it is, and you're able to communicate it to them. They use their unique selling proposition. When you absolutely positively have to get it there overnight, use FedEx. Unique selling proposition. Here's your unique selling proposition. I'll go through this dialogue in the book, and then I'll show you a modification of how I used it from time to time. There's 3 principles to your unique selling proposition. Working exclusively by referral to better serve you. To better serve you. There's something in it for you. Santa Claus is bringing a gift. There's something in it for you. 3 principles. You're going to educate your clients as to how your industry works, articulate how you work, and outline the benefits to your clients. I'll read through it and then I'll show you an example. Most people spend the majority of their time and resources prospecting for new business. Things like cold calling, door knocking, advertising, etc. Articulate how you work. I don't do any of that. I devote myself to serving the needs of my clients before, during, and after each transaction. All I ask of you is while I'm working for you, here it is, underline this, I would like you to refer me to people of comparable quality to yourself. Comparable quality to yourself. Lovely words. Who are thinking of the type of service I provide and who would appreciate this same level of attention. You see, as long as my clients keep referring me, I don't have to go out and prospect like everyone else, and I can do an even better job for you. Does that make sense? Okay, watch this. Mark here is my client. Okay? And Mark, I'm going to pretend that you're a client. It's our first appointment ever together, okay? Mark, if I can for a second, I'd like to explain to you how the real estate business works. I'd then like to explain to you how my business works, what the differences are, and what the benefits are to you. Would that be okay? Mark, the vast majority of people in my business spend the majority of their time prospecting for the next lead. They're always marketing and advertising, spend a lot of time and effort trying to find the next person to work with. They do all kinds of activities like cold calling. Let me ask you, Mark, has anyone ever called you at home at night asking if you're interested in selling your home? Has that ever happened to you?
Yes.
That was a realtor.
Really?
Many times they gather late at night. They order large cheese pizzas, and they start calling through a neighborhood together. You won't believe this, Mark, but a number will actually physically go door to door, banging on people's doors, asking if they're interested in selling their home. You won't believe this, Mark, a number will actually volunteer to be the receptionist at their company, doing a thing called floor time, answering the telephones, hoping a stray lead's going to come in and find them. I got to share with you, Mark, the vast majority of people in my business spend the majority of their time trying to find the next person to work with. Now, Mark, I don't do any of that. None of it whatsoever. I take all my time and all my energy and I devote it to you and the other clients I'm currently serving. And all I ask of you folks is when you folks come in contact with people who are thinking about buying or selling a home, you refer them to me. Good people like yourself. And as long as you folks keep referring me, I don't have to prospect like all the other people do, and I take all my time and energy and devote it to doing a superb job for you guys. Does that make sense? Does that make sense to you folks, yes or no? Yes. And now all of a sudden he sees the benefit in it for him. More personal attention, more personal time, because I'm not prospecting. By the way, just a tip, he's far better at prospecting than I am. Because when he talks to Gail, there is no barrier of resistance. They're two civilians having a conversation. There's no agenda there. When I talk to Gail, her barrier is up. Does this make sense, yes or no? Yes. Empower the people in your database to become your sales force. Empower the people in your database to become referring people for you. And they can do it every day. They can do it when you're not working. I never worked Sundays the last 7 years of my business career in real estate. Yet I can't tell you the number of referrals I generated on a Sunday. Because my database would be at church or at the park or at a game, and they would be talking to their friends. And on Monday morning, my phone would ring, and the referrals had taken place over the weekend when I was not working. Does this make sense, yes or no? Yes. My business was working when I was not. That's part of having some systems. This dialogue right here is what we like to refer in the coaching department as the cookie cutter. This is the cookie cutter dialogue. Every time you're working with a client, if you find yourself being so busy you can't get hardly anything done with these systems, focus on this right here. If you're so busy, you're strapped out, you've got to go talk to clients that you're working with, at least make your trip work for you and get those people to refer you. This is called the Big Three. We'll first show you how to go through your database. How many of you haven't talked to some of your clients in a long time? How many of you feel kind of guilty about that? How many of you feel so guilty you didn't raise your hands? Raise your hands. Okay. Now, we're going to give you what's called the confession letter, which is a letter designed to bring all these people back on board your database. And this is the dialogue you'll follow up with. Number one, can I be of any help? Hi, John, Brian Maffini calling. How are you? How's your family since the 70s? John, the reason I'm calling is that I've grown 3 inches since the last time you talked to me. If you need a referral to a good trade or professional service, because I'm so active in the market, I come across some really good people from time to time. Number two, the value they represent as a client. John, I just want to make sure you know how much I value you as a client. It was a pleasure for me to represent you recently. I look forward to serving you and your family in the future. My business is built by working with people like yourself and taking care of you and your family and friends. Oh, by the way, John, if you know someone who's looking for the personal attention that I provide, who would appreciate this kind of service, I'd love to help them. So when you come across these people, listen now, listen. Just give me a call with their name and number. Underline that. And I'll be happy to follow up and take care of them for you. Does that sound good? Great, take care. Just give me a call with their name and number. Is that different than, here's my business card, yes or no? By the way, if you ask enough times, people will do what you ask them. And if you ask enough times, can you hand out a business card? Can you hand out a business card? Can you hand out a business card? Guess what they'll do for you? They'll hand out a business card. And how effective is that? Almost not at all. Almost not at all. Okay? How many of you need a good referral by, say, 12:30 this afternoon? Let me see your hands. If you're in a need for immediate referrals, here it is. The pop-by. The pop-by. You go visit people. Now, how many of you in here have ever done door knocking? Let me see your hands. Okay? Door knocking, you go knock on somebody's door and see if they're interested in buying or selling. The pop-by is different in this way. You're going to go see people face-to-face, but listen, you're only going to go see people you know. You're going to go see the people you like. And you're going to go see them face-to-face. And here's what it does. It's the quickest and most effective way to generate referrals while sorting your database. Write that in. It's the quickest way to effectively generate referrals. If you need referrals in a hurry, go do pop-bys. While sorting your database. You're going to get referrals and get organized at the same time. How many of you feel like you're disorganized? Let me see your hands. You're disorganized at the foundation level. Normally, people's businesses are disorganized at the database level. And everything else is just a wild symptom after that. If the foundation's broken, of course the drywall's going to look bad. Does that make sense? What do we have to do? Fix the foundation. So you're going to sort your database and you're going to generate referrals at the same time. Here's the dialogue. I think it's important to call before you show up at their doorstep. You haven't seen somebody since 1979. You show up at the door. I want you to know the value you represent to me as a client. It's like, get off my lawn. So call first. See how warm the water is first. Here's the dialogue. I'm going to be in your area tomorrow between 2 and 3, and I'd love to pop by and see how you're doing. I'm going to be in your area tomorrow between 2 and 3, and I'd love to pop by and see how you're doing. Now, this is very important, and my assistant, Becky, has asked me to make this announcement. She's gotten a lot of emails and a lot of letters. I'd really like to do this pop-by stuff, but these between 2 and 3, it just does not work for me each day. Okay? Here's the tip. Between 2 and 3 is what we call in the training industry a suggestion. I can't tell you how many people have called up. This is not going to work for me. Pick a time. Anytime. Anytime at all. You're free. Activity and follow-up. Visit for 15 minutes. No longer. Stay standing the whole time. That's how you do. Never sit down. That is the kiss of death of a pop-by. If you sit down, it goes from being a pop-by to a plop-by. Okay? Done. Stick a fork, you're done. Use the big 3 and follow up by sending out a personal note. Okay, let me give you some tips. With the pop-by, you always bring an item of value with you. My mother used to say, never go anywhere with one arm as long as the other. Doesn't mean a lot in Northern California. That means a lot in Dublin, okay? You always bring something with you. At home, you're always bringing a bottle, okay? So you brought a bottle of some sort and showed up at somebody's home, okay? Ring the door with your elbows. Ever heard this stuff? You guys need to get out. Experience a little something, okay? So go visit somebody. Bring an item of value with you, okay? Now, here's the key principle. Listen. Go visit the friendliest people first. People have this misguided notion of success. Success has to be hard. Now, let me just put this in context for you right off the bat. In case you've deluded yourself to thinking that success has to be hard, or you have to do hard things. Let me first put this in this context. The fact that you live in America means success is not hard. End of story. The fact that you live here, success is not hard. Is it harder to become a millionaire in Bangladesh than in Petaluma? Over there is hard. Now, in case you haven't noticed, people are not building rafts to get to Cuba. Have you noticed that trend? Nobody's setting a goal at the start of the year. If only I could get to Poland, that's when the big break would come. Where are they trying to come to? What land are they trying to come to? They're coming to America. And they're coming in droves. And those that come from other places, let me share with you, you read books like The Millionaire Next Door and The Millionaire Mind. And you see who the millionaires are in America? The number one ethnic group in America to become millionaires. And first of all, over 80% of the millionaires in America the last 20 years are first-generation immigrants. The number one ethnic group, Russians, which makes all the sense in the world. Because they're coming from a place with no opportunity to a place that's filled with opportunity. Here's the problem. In America, the streets are lined with gold. But if you walk on gold every day, it's just pavement. Is that true? The only people who don't know the gold is here are the people living here. The number 2 ethnic group for become millionaires, Irish. That's self-explanatory. Number 3, Polish. You know all those Polish jokes you guys have been telling? You're now working for them. The opportunity is here. So let me share with you right now. If you think success is hard, go to Bangladesh, go to Calcutta, smuggle yourself into Romania. If you have the masochistic tendencies, you get it figured out over there. But success in America is not hard. The first thing we have to do is just simply open ourselves up to see it and receive it. The next thing we have to do is then go and work at it. And I'm going to share with you, here's what I found, that when people do what they enjoy, they tend to do it well. Go see the friendliest people what? If you have great experience doing your first 10 pop-bys, are you more encouraged or discouraged? And you're more encouraged to do what? Do it again.